Hi everyone, Sarah Pacaro, and I am super excited. Yesterday I was explaining some narcissistic behaviors, and there's lots of them, and I didn't want to make the video too long, so today we're going to explain some more fun narcissistic behaviors. So we'll leave off where we left yesterday. So from that, the next narcissistic behavior that we will talk about is the deceptive behaviors, which they're all deceptive. And this is when you notice that the narcissist is like an actor or actress. They create roles to con someone into believing that they are someone or something that they're not. They're great actors. And this type of deception does not strike a narcissist as something you shouldn't do. Like, the normal person is like, why would you do that? That just doesn't even make sense. But when the victim finds out that the narcissist is doing this and kind of leading like this Jekyll and Jekyll and Hyde kind of life, that they just go into shock, especially if it's your first time experiencing it. But you'll notice that when it's not your first time experiencing it, you really take on the heaviness of it even more so, because you feel like, how in the world did I not see this again? Like, I've been through this. What is going on? Because the narcissist in doing this, when you figure this out and you call them out, they start to attack you, threaten you, they play mind games, they smear the victim's name, reputation, and they use others to break this victim down. We're going to talk about using others with our next narcissistic term, that is triangulation. So this is a tactic that's used by narcissists to change the balance of power. So triangulation, if you think about a triangle, right? There's you, the narcissist, and then this other person, and they create this imbalance of power. A narcissistic parent will do this. For example, rather than like allowing two kids to work together, the narcissistic parent insists that he or she be the go-between, like, you need to check with me. They control the way that information is flowed by bringing somebody else in. Then they can have a say. They can control the way that this information is interpreted. They can add their own nuances to the conversation. And it's also a way to feed their narcissistic supply, to have somebody rely on them, come to them, validate them, that they're needed. And this is, they're not. Like, most people, they want to be depended on. So the narcissistic supply is our next term. You've most likely heard of this if you're watching this. Chances are you have been or are narcissistic supply. Once supply, always supply. Unfortunately, because you become part of the narcissistic harem, and the harem is kind of like their little black book, their Rolodex of people that they go through, and you may not be their main source of supply anymore if you're out of the relationship, but they will hoover and gaslight you and try to love bomb you again to come back into your life when their current source of supply starts to drop low down that list, and then they go through the Rolodex. So narcissistic supply is a term that's used to designate the way that narcissists feed on attention. So the best sources of supply are attention for approval, admiration, adoration. They use these sources of attention because of their fear, and they make you feel like you can't make it without them. The sources of supply can be you, it can be partners, it can be children, it can be jobs, anything that gives this ongoing filling this void, this emptiness, this cup. So narcissistic supply comes in many, many forms, and you are a source of their supply to them if you have been with one. You've been with them, you've experienced this next term 100%. Gaslighting. So that is the way in which the narcissists and abusers lie. They lie intentionally to make you question yourself, your sanity, and your reality. And it's unfortunate because they do this not only with you, their supply, but they do it with their children. They do it with everybody in their life. They gaslight them. They make you feel like you are going crazy. So an example of this would be like, hey, sky is blue. No, the sky is green. Nope, I said the sky is blue. Nope, I said the sky is green. And you're like, no, I can see the sky, it's blue. and they continue to tell you, no, you're wrong, you're not seeing it the right way. And you question yourself and what you believe to be true. Gaslighting is one of the most insidious forms of emotional and psychological abuse. It's extremely damaging when you start to question yourself and what you believe, because then they're feeding in these beliefs about yourself that you're not good enough, you'll never be good enough, if no one wants you, look at you, you're disgusting. And they do this through another term we're going to talk about next, withholding. A lot of times they withhold. This is where the silent treatment, stonewalling comes in. They withhold affection, they withhold attention, and use this mixed with gaslighting. The abusive partner pretends to not understand, or they refuse to listen to you. They will say, oh God, I'm not this again. Really? You're doing this? I don't want to hear this. Or, no, you're trying to confuse me. They tell you that you're the ones gaslighting them. So the abusive partner questions the victim's memories of certain events. You'll tell them, no, I remember this happening. And they'll withhold information to you, from you, and make you feel like you don't remember what happened accurately. So they do this in the form of gaslighting and withholding. They'll tell you you're wrong, you don't remember anything correctly, that never happened, I never said that. And another form is, they withhold information while they're gaslighting. So a lot of these are connected and go together. And you'll notice this blocking and diverting that they do. The abusive partner, the narcissist, will constantly change the subject. You'll be talking about something, hey, can we sit down, we need to talk about this. And then they'll be like, hey, did you see, look at my buddy, and you're like, wait, no, don't change the subject, stay with me. But they change the subject constantly, and they get you to question your own thoughts. And they'll say things like, oh, is this, your crazy friend, I bet your crazy friend told you that, they're so stupid, what did they know? Or, you're imagining things, I never said that. They twist things, they block things, they block you from ever being able to talk about it. You'll find we never can talk, we need to sit down and we need to talk about this, figure this out, it's important, it has to do with the kids. And then they'll change the subject, or they'll divert to talking about something else. And then they'll tell you God, look at you, you always get angry. Why are you're so angry about this? And you're like, yeah, of course, I'm freaking pissed because you won't freaking talk about it. And they don't, because they block talking about it, or they divert and change the subject constantly. And then they tell you things like, God, you're so sensitive, or you're such a baby, and you're just pissed off because they won't talk about things that need to be talked about. And then the next thing they'll do is they'll forget, and then they deny things. So they pretend to forget things that happen, or make it deny that it ever happened, or that it was that bad when it happened. And they'll make promises to you like, you're just making stuff up. Whatever. Sure, it happened. It won't ever happen again, I promise you. And of course, this leaves the victim questioning their own reality and sense of what happened, and blaming themselves like, did that never happen? If they forgot about it, or they said it never happened, they're denying it never happened, maybe it didn't. Maybe I am remembering it wrong. It leaves you feeling like you're going crazy and questioning your own reality. And this leads to, the withholding and the gaslighting. One of those is the silent treatment. And this is often used, always actually used, to punish or control. It's used to test boundaries, and it's used to avoid responsibility. That's why it's one of their favorite tactics. The silent treatment, just not answering. Denying, blocking, not answering. It's used to hurt you. It's used to hurt the victim. After they have groomed you in the love bombing stage for constant attention, then the going dark, going silent, brings you pain and confusion. You're like, wait a minute, we just showered me with love and attention, and then all of a sudden they're not talking to me. They've gone silent. This is used to test you. It's used to get a reaction out of you, to see if you will accept these lame, pathetic excuses. And then the silent treatment comes around, and it's like, what are they going to do? Of course, you're going to beg for them back. Please talk to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. You're right. I overreacted. You're right. I can be a little too sensitive at times. So it grooms you to expect the calls and the texts as often, so that they can begin their second life with the new supply. So that when they go silent, they're not taking time to think about things and work on themselves and heal. They're not actually silent. They're silent with you, and they're out getting new supply. And they're starting the new love bombing phase with the new supply, so they can begin this new life with this new supply without being nagged by you or missing you, because they just simply go silent. They're off starting their new life with a new supply, and you're the one begging for them back. Like, how messed up is that? But that's the way it is with them. And when you call them out on this induces the narcissistic rage. That's the next term we're going to talk about. Narcissistic rage is that when you challenge them, or you insult them, or you call them out on something that happens, they fly off into this rage, and all of a sudden it's your fault, and then they begin spewing and throwing insults at you. Maybe they become physical, maybe they become aggressive. They start to destroy things, break things, punch holes in walls. I have clients who like rip dressers off. I had holes in my walls from the last one. It's like, don't break that unless you're going to pay for it. And then later, of course, I'm going to pay for that, I'm sorry. Guess what? Never happens. So narcissistic rage is induced when you call them out and their aggressive behavior just escalates like crazy. And it does that because of this next term, this sense of entitlement that they have. They feel that the world owes them anything they want. Anything they want. They can and will lie and cheat to get it. And they take what they want without regard for who they step on to get it. So the sense of entitlement is caused by this deep rage, and this fuels this sense that they have the right to do and say what they want and treat others the way that they want, because they're entitled to it. They should have it. Why not? Because they're know-it-alls. So a person who believes that they know everything is seldom wrong about anything, and you'll notice they never, ever, ever admit that they're wrong. And this leads to the last one that we'll talk about today, fake emotions. This is the tears, the crying, the sobbing. They can turn it on. We talked about this before. They're perfect actors. They can turn it on. These fake emotions. This happens because they have the inability to feel real emotions, because the number one thing with the narcissist is that they lack emotional empathy. So all of their emotions are fake. They are unable to feel real emotions. They mimic emotions that they think are appropriate in any given situation. Because they're actors, they can turn it on and they can turn it off. They can turn on the charm, and they do this in the beginning, the love bombing phase, and then later on in the discard and devaluing stage, they turn it off, and then they turn it on again when they want to hook you back in. So you'll notice that they use tears. They can cry. I had a recent experience with this. It's so annoying. They use tears to manipulate you because they know that if they're crying, it goes straight to the heart of their victims, because you have emotional empathy and they don't. But it declares and demands their own victimhood when they're crying, and then it slowly regains trust and shows sensitivity. See, I really do care. I really do love you. If I didn't, I wouldn't be over here crying about you. Their tears are not genuine. They never are. They should not. Please listen. Do not take this at face value. They don't cry because they feel bad for hurting you or for what they've done. There's always a reason, and they turn this into a pity manipulation. It's about controlling you. It's about you falling for it yet again. And it adds to their arsenal of tools. They cry and you melt. They know they've got you, and they know that every time they cry, you're going to give in and you're going to go back, and they will continue to use this against you. So we're going to leave it at that today, and then we'll come back a little bit later. I don't want to make this video too long and talk about some more of their behaviors, but please, please, please understand and know this. Education, awareness is the very first step. Then getting out is the second step. Then the next step is stop. Don't go jump into another relationship. You're going to end up with another narcissist until you heal from within what caused you to be in that type of relationship in the first place. I just got done with an RTT session, and it was amazing. Every experience that this woman went back to, you guys, she was 6 and 7 years old. it has nothing to do with the narcissist. It has everything to do with why and how you got to be with them. And those are those deep inner beliefs about yourself that lead you to being with them. But so I educate on narcissists and awareness of it, because that's where I was, and you need to know what's showing up in your life now is all connected and related to where you were, these beliefs about yourself when you were younger. So I hope that what I share with you helps, but please know it is connected and related to something much deeper. The narcissist is just like a slice of this pie that is your life. So it's not the end. You're not alone, and there is help. I would love to help you, support you, and take you on your journey to healing from within from that. But I hope this helps with the first step, the awareness of it. So thank you guys, as always, for watching and educating yourself and knowing that you're not alone. So I look forward to connecting with you. Please reach out, send me a message, or schedule time for us to talk if you haven't yet by clicking on the banner. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.